We all know big is bigger than small. And of course, massive is bigger than big. And mega is even bigger than massive and way bigger than big. Well, this isn't big, and it's not massive, and it's not just mega. This is the Mega Massive Oh My Goodness Merry Mortgage Giveaway from Cable Bahamas. Our grand prize winner will get their mortgage and utilities paid for a full year. Another winner will get their utility payments, and another winner will get all their cable services for an entire year. That's up to $40,000 in prizes in the Mega Massive Oh My Goodness Merry Mortgage Giveaway. If you want to win, just sign up for Rare Voice Bahamaland, the unlimited nationwide home phone service that's packed with features for one low price of just $14.99 a month. This is the time to upgrade your home phone service to Rare Voice Bahamaland, and we'll pay your mortgage and utility payments up to $25,000 for a full year. Rare Voice Bahamaland, the Bahamas' most reliable home phone service with nationwide coverage and a chance to win in the Mega Massive Oh My Goodness Merry Mortgage Giveaway.
Tensions flare as the men and women believed to be involved in the murder of businessman Kurt McCartney were brought to court. MPs debate the new crime bills in the House of Assembly today, and things heat up. Several unions in support of a BEC strike threat. Plus, we'll introduce you to the 21 Sports Hall of Fame inductees. Those stories and more coming up. I'm Nikia DeVoe, and this is NB12. Everyone, thanks for joining us here at Cable 12 Studios. Here are the stories coming out of the NB12 newsroom this evening. Charges brought in the murder of businessman Kurt McCartney nearly 1 month after he was shot dead in Gambia Village. Christina McNeil was there as family members of the accused rallied outside the court. Here's her report.
Family members expressing outrage outside the magistrate's court complex as 2 men and 2 women were arraigned for the October 24th murder of Kurt McCartney. Another man arraigned on accessory to murder charges. Tears began rolling down the faces of 20-year-old Lindira Curry with the braids and 26-year-old Sumaya Ingram before they even entered the courtroom. This as family members of the accused demanded justice.
Justice for all. We don't have no money. How come my daughter walking there like that, looking like what?
Curry and Ingram were charged along with 23-year-old Thorne Edwards in the rare and 31-year-old O'Kell Farrington in the striped shirt. The 4 were charged with intentionally and unlawfully causing the death of Kurt McCartney. They are further charged with armed robbery. It is alleged that the 4 robbed McCartney of a 2007 Hummer H2 Jeep valued at $37,000 while armed with a handgun. Initial police reports indicate that McCartney, brother of Democratic National Alliance leader Branville McCartney, was found face down with multiple gunshot wounds to the upper body. Today, the 4 appeared before Magistrate Andrew Forbes and were not required to enter a plea to the charges. Forbes indicated that the matter will proceed before Chief Magistrate Joyanne Ferguson Pratt. They have been remanded to Her Majesty's prison until they return to court. The 2 women sobbed quietly throughout the hearing as Edwards claimed he was beaten while in police custody and had received threats of death from the prison. Farrington said he was also beaten by police. Magistrate Forbes told the men he would ask for them to be seen by a doctor and would advise the prison superintendent about the threats. Meanwhile, 42-year-old Terry Delancey was charged with being an accessory to murder after the fact. Ian Cargill represented Delancey. He told the court that his client found a weapon and handed it over to police. Delancey pleaded not guilty to the charge. The prosecution objected to Delancey's bail, arguing that the investigation is ongoing and Delancey may interfere with the investigation. Magistrate Forbes granted him bail in the sum of $15,000 with one surety. Delancey will be electronically monitored, and Forbes ordered that he stay away from anyone involved in the case. Any violations will result in his bail being revoked. Delancey will return to court on November 26th, along with Edwards, Farrington, Curry, and Ingram. Reporting for NB12, I'm Christina McNeil.
Well, on to news from the House of Assembly tonight. Opposition Deputy Leader and Long Island Member of Parliament Loretta Butler Turner taking the government to task for not shutting down numbers houses since the January 28th referendum. She also lambasted Tall Pines MP Leslie Miller for admitting on the floor of the House last week that he bought numbers. Paige McCartney has the details.
While contributing to debate on the compendium of crime bills in the House of Assembly today, Butler Turner said government cannot make legislative changes to aid in the fight against crime without first addressing the issue of illegal numbers houses that remain open despite Bahamians voting to have them shut down back in January. Butler Turner said it was government's decision to put to the people whether they want the numbers game legalized, and therefore it's the government's responsibility to act out the wishes of the people. She said it's been too long for the issue to remain unaddressed. Last week in the House, Miller said web shop owners should not be degraded or compared to gangsters, and that rather they should make Bahamians proud for their accomplishments. He also admitted that while in a barber shop, he gambled $20 on numbers just last week. Butler Turner said as lawmakers, parliamentarians should be the example for the public, and if the laws say the numbers business is illegal, then if one breaks the law, he or she is a criminal. Butler Turner said the numbers game is organized crime, and it's a shame that the Tall Pines MP admitted to participating in it.
Quite frankly, Mr. Speaker, if someone in here claims that they're actually buying numbers, they are contravening the laws of this land. So Tall Pines can buy all the numbers he wants. Maybe he needs to be escorted out here and asked, why is he breaking the laws of the land? When in fact he stands here as a legislator. This is the duplicity that we need to look at when you talk about duplicity. Because the reality is you have legislators in here saying they're making laws in here for law-abiding citizens, and yet they come in here and claim they're breaking the law. There's got to be something wrong with that.
Butler Turner compared the numbers bosses to convicted American fraudster Bernie Madoff, which again didn't sit well with Miller, who defended the web shop owners and questioned why the F&M government allowed web shops to perpetuate for so long.
What I don't understand is what does American convict got to do with the web shops in this country? Bernie Madoff, whatever the hell they call him,
Madoff.
Okay, was a criminal. This guy run an empire. They were the ones who gave the web shop operators their legitimate licenses. That was given by them. Why they didn't close them down then?
How much money they was making?
They had 5 years to close them down. They closed none down because they wanted the fellas' money.
But the Long Island MP said although the Ingram administration gave out the business licenses to web shop owners, it did not give them out to permit gambling.
I will stand by exactly what I say. The reality of the fact is this. The licenses that were granted to these people that are running organized crime in web shops was not for the selling of numbers. It was for people to be able to go there, to be able to use a computer.
Also standing in defense of government, Fort Charlotte MP Dr. Andre Rollins, who also serves as gaming board chairman, said the F&M should understand the predicament government finds itself in.
She sat around the cabinet table, Mr. Speaker, when they were considering a computer wagering bill to govern the web shop industry in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Because of a fear of the backlash from the Christian community and others, they decided to put it off the table until after the general election.
Reporting for NB12, I'm Paige McCartney.
Hundreds of teachers stormed downtown Nassau protesting over outstanding issues with the Ministry of Education. More than a dozen police officers and barricades were not enough to stop Bahamas Union of Teachers President Belinda Wilson from getting her message out. Education Minister Jerome Fitzgerald has to go. Wilson insists Fitzgerald has failed to address outstanding issues, namely the union's inability to access school campuses and post union notices on school boards, and teachers not being treated as professionals. Wilson says teachers are prepared to take a strike vote if their grievances are not addressed.
We are taking serious consideration as we speak today to look at a strike vote. So we're going to take that into serious consideration. A strike vote in short order. We also have already instructed our lawyers to petition the Supreme Court and the Industrial Tribunal. We stood in solidarity today, and with the teachers, the message we want to send to the minister, first of all, is ministers come and go. And we feel ready that this can be his first time and his last time, because he's really not been treating the union, not been treating the teachers with respect. And we want to also remind him that teachers have bachelor degrees, master's degrees, PhDs. We're professionals. So we're saying to him, sit down, sit small, minister, sit small.
Wilson says the union will make a formal presentation to the International Labor Organization if it comes to that. Wilson said teachers have been wronged for too long.
We've already written to the ILO. The ILO has now asked us to make our representation now to the head office in Geneva, Switzerland. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. We've asked them to bring down a group, for a committee of experts. They will be able to come in and mediate. I don't think that we should have even gotten to this point. But if the Minister of Education does not listen to the Minister of Labor, the recommendations from the Director of Labor.
Now, even though the government has agreed to pay teachers millions of dollars in back pay, they remain on work to rule and have stopped facilitating extracurricular activities. Fitzgerald has rejected the union's claim of victimization. The BUT will meet with the National Congress of Trade Unions of the Bahamas to map the way forward tomorrow. Well, the row over whether Bahamas Electricity Corporation workers are entitled to collect sick pay from both BEC and the National Insurance Board continues. The Bahamas Public Service Union and the National Congress of Trade Unions of the Bahamas have come out in support of the BEC workers. The unions criticized recent comments made by Executive Chairman Leslie Miller on the issue and announced their solidarity with the Bahamas Electrical Workers Union. Dana Smith has that story.
As tensions between BEC's union and Chairman Leslie Miller continue to rise, other unions are voicing their support, warning Miller they are presenting a united front and will do what they have to do if the issues are not resolved. President of the Bahamas Public Service Union, John Pinder, pointed to comments Miller said in an interview with the Nassau Guardian with regards to having people on standby in Freeport and Florida should workers here strike.
I heard Minister Miller indicating that if BEC was to bring about any industrial actions, he have persons in Miami waiting to line up to come to New Providence. But I don't know if they're coming by any plane. I don't think they'll be able to, because the plane has to be able to land in New Providence. And so he has to be aware of the fact that there is a joint effort among the trade union movement, especially among the National Congress of Trade Unions. And if you touch one, you touch all. But we'd like to follow the protocol, give them an opportunity to correct their wrongs and cause things to fall in order. Failing that, we're all on board.
He further called on Miller to negotiate with the union.
No man is an island. And without the staff of the BEC, there'll be no BEC. There'll be no need for executive chairman. There'll be no need for a board. The two must work hand in hand.
Attorney and former Bahamas Electrical Workers Union President Dennis Williams also spoke in the wake of Miller's comments on employees, quote, double dipping and collecting sick pay from both National Insurance and BC.
If all of the issues relating to this national insurance issue are discussed intelligently, without any prejudice, without any ill will, the status quo would remain the same. Because you can't, the intention of what the national insurance benefits were for are not to replace any salary.
For her part, Jennifer Isaacs-Dotson, president of the National Congress of Trade Unions of the Bahamas, or NCTUB, advised Miller and the government to focus more on its election promise to reduce light bills rather than employee benefits. She said BC employees do not affect the current electric bills.
It is not because of them that the light bill in this country is as high. They need to deal with the fact why they have not dealt with the energy bill that has been proposed a long time ago. Why are we still using the fuel that we're using? Why are they still using the engines that they're using at Clifton Pier? Those are the things that they need to address.
The Bahamas Electrical Workers Union has threatened strike action over Miller's stance on sick pay. The NCTUB has also threatened to take mass industrial action in the past. Reporting for MB12, I'm Dana Smith.